Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, where every day we try to keep you updated with the latest trends in the technology world and how they impact businesses. And I do that by facilitating intriguing conversations with the leaders at the forefront of every digital transformation. And today, I'm incredibly fortunate to host Oliver Tuszik, the SVP of Global Partner Sales and General Manager of Routes to Market at Cisco. Now, in case you didn't know this, 90% of Cisco's revenues comes through partners, making Oliver's role integral to the company's functioning and growth. So in today's conversation, I want to be learning more about how we're in the age of the partner and examine the changing needs of businesses and the importance of a robust partner ecosystem in delivering outcomes from IT investments. And as technology becomes an essential lever in every organisation, I think we're beginning to see a tectonic shift towards a more flexible as-a-service consumption model orchestrated by cross-industrial ecosystems. But what does that mean to you and your business? Well, with forecasts predicting a third of global GDP being driven by these ecosystems by 2035, combined with an increasing preference for partner-led sales, I want to discuss the evolving role of partnerships and the potential future of every business model. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Germany, where Oliver is waiting to speak with me today. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Oliver. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Neil, and thanks for inviting me. So I'm Oliver Tuszik. I'm leading Cisco's global channel and routes to market sales.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. We did meet in person very briefly on the show floor at Cisco Live, where I learned that 90% of Cisco's revenues come through partners. And after hearing that stat and reading your Age of the Partner think piece, I invited you on here to talk about the topic in a little more detail. So to set the scene for today's conversation, can you offer an overview of that message you delivered in Age of the Partner?
For sure. And maybe we start with the 90% because you combine both of them. The interesting thing is Cisco made a very clear decision more than 27 years ago. We decided that our primary route to market will be with partners, via partners, together with partners. And since that time, we ramped up the share, and we're now for the last 5 years always about 90% and higher. So most of our business is running through the partners. And that's a perfect fit, of course, to the age of the partner because it gives us an unfair advantage. But the age of the partner has a different start. It starts very simple with customers. The age of the partner is a kind of the reaction, what's happening on the customer side. And you saw this at Cisco Live, but it doesn't matter where you go, which analyst you listen, or the best we can do, we listen to our customers because they tell us something that's a very clear message. And it was happening over the last year. This kind of, we always talked about the digital transformation, but it was clearly on steroids during and after the pandemic. And what happened, companies realized that without having a digital business model, without driving the digitization of everything they do, they will not survive and they will no longer win. So instead of seeing IT as a cost center, it became a clear business value. IT is now part of the board level. It is sitting together with all the other functions and helping to derive the company's strategy. And IT needs to deliver a clear value. It's not like it's a support function, it's a value-generating function. And this has some consequences because on the one hand side, they need to focus on value, on outcomes, on driving AI, driving better sales experience, better customer experience. But on the other side, they still need to continue managing the complexity of the entire IT infrastructure, including, of course, security. So what they are doing, because they have a resource shortage and they can't deal with all the complexity, they are trying to reduce complexity by looking for outcomes and solutions. They want to have more flexible consumption models. And that's why we are starting to talk about the age of the partner, because nobody can do this on their own. We're looking always for somebody who combines different, often product, software, services, and deliver it in an easy way, easy to digest, easy to buy, and easy to consume, mainly as a service, managed service, and so on. And the only one who can do this are partners because they have the capability. Innovation in these days is all about combining different technologies and solutions and creating an outcome, a value for a customer. It might be a very specific one. It might have specific needs. And that's what only partners can do. They have the capabilities. And that's, going back to your other part, why Cisco is in a very good position. We have an unfair advantage because our entire system, our entire DNA, how we create offers, how we sell, how we deliver value is based on working together with a huge partner ecosystem. That's why the age of the partner is the best thing that could happen to us.
And it really feels like the world of IT has been on somewhat of a journey. I remember back in the day, it was more about being the guardians of the network and very often being seen as the department that says no or blockers. But now, of course, they're business enablers. And I'm curious, if we take all the conversations you've had on the show floor and conversations with your customers all around the world, can you tell me a little bit more about the changing needs of businesses in how and where they choose to consume technologies and those technologies that are necessary for more business growth, essentially?
We see on the one hand side, clear needs from the customer side. They need to transform their entire infrastructure. In a cloud and application first work, you need to have a complete different infrastructure setup. They need to look at how they enable new types of work, hybrid work from everywhere. And yes, everything is focused on the application. They need to rethink how they build application, how they manage application. Because the only way you interact with most of our customers now is via the phone, via the web, because it's application that are our shop floors of today. And then, of course, security. It has always been a big topic. It will always be a big topic. And it is more concerning than ever. So securing the end-to-end experience is one of the big topics. And there's a new one. It started, of course, years ago. It started very strong in Europe, by the way, but it's now all over the world. It's sustainability. How can we help to reach our commitments, our targets? How can we, from a technology side, support this with solutions, but also with products that drive different kind of energy consumption? So that's the one thing we're seeing from the customer side. And now with this one, and what I said before on the customer changes, we see that customers want to have more flexibility on how they buy, what they buy, and how they consume. They're looking at different marketplaces, no matter if it's a cloud marketplaces, partner marketplaces. They're looking at flexible software as a service motions, and of course, managed service. And last but not least, they want all of this faster and more flexible. We're talking about a complete new type of customer experience. And that's what our partners are focused on, generating, creating these new type of customer experience.
And I think there is a huge realization now that every business can't and shouldn't have to do everything on their own. It is about partnerships. It's about collaboration. So on that side of things, can you expand on the importance of an ecosystem of partners of sorts to maybe better deliver outcomes from the investments that they're making in IT? Because again, there's so much focus around those investments in IT and showing that they deliver value, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a time where ecosystem was defined as Cisco and one partner. Already, we achieved amazing things. But in these days, most of the business we're doing is more than one partner. And in both ways. So we have partners that are not classical transacting partners, but advisor consulting companies that join us to deliver the best, to design the best customer value. Then we have more and more fast-growing community of developers that build solution application on top of the Cisco platforms. That comes on top to this kind of new ecosystem. And to be clear, it goes that extreme. You ask about the changes that we're even working together with some of our biggest competitors. The Cisco-Microsoft partnership is a great example how we create the best experience with our collaboration Desk Pro devices to ensure that no matter what kind of system you're using, you have the amazing experience of the Cisco WebEx hardware. And that's what we're doing, again, with Microsoft, with partners, with contact center partners, with people that understand workflows in the company. So ecosystem, we still use the same word, but it has become much more complex. And that's, by the way, also why we changed, I think now more than 2 years ago, all our programs and how we look at partners. In the past, everybody defined partners by the Cisco definition or whoever you were working with. Now we define partner by the type of value they create, and we adapted all our programs to ensure that if you are a consulting partner, you are not interested in all the other stuff. You want to have a very specific support, enablement, and also incentives. And we adapted our entire program to allow these new types of co-selling, co-creating, focusing on the outcome.
And I think every business is grappling with so many big challenges at the moment, from economic uncertainty and also inflation and scarce tech talent. And before you came on the podcast, I was reading, I think it was the Gartner CIO agenda, and they stated that 80% of CEOs are increasing digital technology investments, which further adds pressure. And as a result, business leaders are now expecting hardware, software and services to all be cohesively be managed to achieve those business results that they desire. So I'm curious, are you seeing an increase in a almost done-as-service flexible consumption model with predictable OPEX that allows companies to focus on their core business rather than all those technologies that support it?
Absolutely, Neil. And you were talking about pressure. I love the pressure because IT becomes more important. That's why our business is overall booming. There's a demand for IT. And the interesting thing, which links to what you just said, we see currently a lot of customers coming into our briefing centers, talking to us, that know that they will go through a crisis because they see inflation, they see whatever crises are happening all over the world. And instead of, like we've seen it in the past, start cutting costs first on IT, they ask us, how can we utilize IT to survive and even thrive in these times? So the number that Gartner is bringing up is what we're seeing all around the world. And very important, it's not specific by regions or countries. It is happening in all places. I've been, for the last 3 months, traveling all around the world. I've been in Korea. I've been in Europe. I've been through the Americas. And every customer is telling exactly the same story. They are looking for ways to thrive with IT. They're looking for outcomes, not for technology. It's a very important change. So it is less even that technology innovations continue, but they less want to buy single technologies. They want to buy bundled solution. And going to your question around, do we see a growth in managed service? Yes, we see a dramatic growth in managed service. And managed service is not the classic outsourcing that we had in the past. It's not with all this asset takeover and even people takeover. Managed service become more flexible, more agile, bundled. For example, if you have a lot of branches all around the world, would you like to manage the connection in a secure way, having in mind that your people might work from a small office, from the home office, from Starbucks, from anywhere in the world? Now, you want to have somebody who delivers you an end-to-end security connectivity, which of course ensures that no matter what application you're using, no matter where the application is managed, in the cloud, in your own data center, that you have the best end-to-end security. And that's a managed service. Managed SD-WAN security solution, SASE, is something that we see dramatically growing. We see growth, especially in the security area. And with our new offers, the new platform-based offers, we're making it easier for our partners and, of course, therefore also for the customers to have this end-to-end solutions, because security is the best example. Not sure if you read this report from us. The average enterprise customer has more than 50 different security solutions. Wow. All of them might be individual, the best you can get. But it's the same like you would buy a car from 50 different vendors, and you have the best tires, the best steering wheel, the best engine, the best exhaust, the best whatever. It will never work as a car because bringing it together is a problem. And that's what we see in the security space. Customers are frustrated because the different systems don't talk with each other. So they're looking for an end-to-end security solution in a managed way, because you brought up another point. Resource shortages. Do you know which is the most difficult resource and most expensive skill to find? Security. There's a demand globally. And we're talking about this for the last 10 years, that we will not be able to serve. So we need this integrated, automated solutions, and customers want to get rid of the problem by asking for managed security. And that's why we see the growth. To be clear, by the end of 25, 45% of our addressable market will be done in a managed service or as a service motion. So it's a huge, fast-growing market for us.
And another stat I want to throw at you here, according to the IDC Global Future of Industry Ecosystem survey that I was reading recently, by the end of the year, almost 60% of organisations will be expanding the number of partners they work with outside of their core industry. Does that figure surprise you?
No, absolutely. And all what I'm talking about, the age of the partner, is not an IT-only thing. Because just look at the technology disruption we had over the last year. You have so many new, disruptive, innovative technologies. But a technology itself doesn't create anything. You need to bring it together, combine it with other technologies, with services, to create something that is easy to handle, easy to digest also, and so creates the real value. So every company is now looking about partnering. We can come back to the car. If Mercedes, BMW, or Ford, if they build a car, a huge amount of the parts are not constructed by them. They're even not designed by them, because they work with partners to create the best experience. Because there might be somebody in the world who has a certain skill, a certain special technology that might be the best. But the most important thing is, going back to the partner, to integrate it into one solution. So no matter in which business you work, which segment, which country or region, partnering and embracing the idea of a partner ecosystem will be the future.
And also by 2025, I read that 40% of companies are expected to leverage multi-partner technology agreements to address things like growing customer demands and solution complexities. Presumably, these figures are only going to increase, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's again driving simplification. Do you want to manage 15 different contracts? No, you want to have an easy, flexible consumption model, which you can turn on, turn off, grow, shrink. So these kind of, we call them enterprise agreement, and there's many different terms for this one. We just built up a hybrid work package, which consists 6 different software solutions, but you order it as one, you pay and manage it as one. So instead of having different security, calling, video conferencing, chat, and whatever function, you get one. And that's where we reduce complexity, because this is a complexity that nobody of our customers want to manage, because it doesn't create a value if you manage it. And that's also a core thing that the IT departments look at. What is unique? What can I do for my business that makes us the best in this segment? And even we love Wi-Fi networks. Managing a Wi-Fi network is not what makes a company itself better. But if it doesn't work, it brings the company in real problems. So we need to learn that these kind of models of consumption or as a service will be the future for us.
And another big stat, and an alarming stat, some would say as well, is that 3/4 of CEOs think that their current business model will soon be completely unrecognisable, and they see partnerships and ecosystems as the way as the future. Is this something that you're hearing in conversations that you're having with your customers too?
Yeah, for sure, because they know that it will be mainly technology that is disrupting them. And of course, they ask, no matter which business you ask, they ask, what is the next technology that will destroy my existing business model? So you can pick whatever is happening in the world. There are disruptive companies, and some of the other companies might be able to catch up if they invest in technology. And that's a kind of pattern that we see all around the world. And of course, company comes to us because we are technology leader. We went through disruption transformation for the last 35 years. And now everybody is thinking about technology disruption, and they want to understand how they are the disruptor and not the one who got killed by it.
And for every business leader listening to our conversation today, then they could be scattered anywhere in the world, what advice would you leave them with today around the tech complexity and the demand for partner ecosystems? What advice would you leave them with?
I think based on all the discussion we're having, it's pretty clear you need to understand what makes you unique, what is your value. And all the technology models that can help you to drive value. And there's many things how you can do this, but all these models are the ones that you should focus on and invest. And on the other side, to free up capacity, because there's no unlimited OPEX or investments, but to free up capacity, understand how you can reduce your complexity and your cost, increase the flexibility by finding partners that can manage part of your complexity. So finding the partner that not only operates it, but also ensures that you have a continuous improvement, the best customer experience on this kind of daily operations and technologies. And back to the partner ecosystem, get used to work with more than one, work with multiple partners on everything you do, build the structure to manage this part of the complexity, because then you have the chance to continue to drive innovation without getting killed by the complexity and continue to drive value for your business model.
And I think as we come to an end in our conversation today, the speed of technological change is moving at breakneck speed at the moment. But I think there's also a realization that it's never going to move this slow again. So there's a real pressure on everyone to be in a state of continuous learning and to try and stay ahead of the curve and those latest tech trends. So I've got to ask, as someone right in the heart of this space, where or how do you self-educate and keep ahead of the trends?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Neil. And I think we could have had this discussion 10 years ago and we would say, oh, it has never been that fast like in the last year. I think we need to get used to the speed. And I come back to your question before. It's again about partnering. You can't learn and know everything on your own. Pick the right areas where you continue to learn and find the right partners to help to manage the complexity of technology. Because you only have a chance if you partner in this world to deal with the speed, the disruption, and to continue to drive innovation that really creates value.
And I think that is a beautiful moment to end on, a powerful message. But before I let you go, for anyone listening wanting to dig a little bit deeper about anything we talked about today, where would you like to point everyone listening to?
Oh, maybe take a look at the Age of the Partner. It's a short blog that I can recommend. And I think you brought up some interesting stuff over the last weeks around all this disruption and changes. And especially, I think, on the hybrid work and the security piece, there's a lot happening. So check Neil's podcast.
Awesome. Well, I'll add links to everything we've talked about today so people can find that nice and easily. So much we covered there and so many great insights that you were able to share with us. It's been a pleasure meeting you in person and being able to record a podcast with you. But just thank you for sharing your insights today.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Always great.
So a huge thank you to Oliver for coming on the podcast today. I very briefly met him at Cisco Live and he very kindly accepted my proposal to come on here, and I'm so glad he did. I think we learned today that the ecosystem economy is not just a trend, it's a seismic shift that's transforming business models and the way that we consume technology too. So I hope today's discussion helped you grasp the increasing importance of robust partner-assisted models and a flexible as-a-service consumption. And I think as we navigate this ever-evolving tech sphere, let's remember, we all need to stay adaptable, agile, and receptive to collaboration. But this is a huge topic that we've just covered in a 30-minute podcast. I'd love to bring you into this conversation. So please email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. Let's keep this conversation going. But a big thank you for listening today. And until next time, don't be a stranger.